Okay. So welcome to the first meeting of the club. I would like to start off by giving you a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, First Lady. The quote is, "A good leader inspires people to have confidence in the leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves." So during the first meeting, usually people would give like credential on what they did, but it doesn't matter what I did if I didn't do it for the right reason. So my vision or my reason is that I believe in creating a world where people are given the room and opportunity to be the best version of themselves, and would like to explain a little bit on like how that came to be. It came from both like my personal experience, and I'm sure that other people have the same experience too. Like from working on campus or even like volunteering for any other place, when you bring up any new idea, they would say things like, "Oh, it's good enough already," or "That's how it's always been done, so there's no point in improving on it." And then the other thing that I can't stand is that fake niceness. People would always be like, "Oh, you're doing fine. I'm sure you'll get it." And then like later, or even better, they're like, "Oh, I'll come to your meeting." Yeah. So the the quote you brought up yesterday, it's something about freedom of the mind. If it's truly freedom, why is there still like barriers and like stopping you from trying new things? And from your reason that I came up with my visions that from absorbing other people. Just think about work. You spend 1/3 of your life working, but why is that? If you go up on Google right now and look up what percentage people are unsatisfied with their work, it's ranked somewhere from 70 to 90%. Like if you spend almost half of your life working, and most of us don't enjoy that, why is that? And it doesn't only affect like our work life, but it's also affects our health and our family too. So why is that? Chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer, like heart problem, cardiovascular disease. Why is it like even though we are living in the most advanced age, why is that those things are on the rise? The highest reason that cause these diseases are stress, and the highest reason for stress is work. So basically, if you're not working for the right place, it's basically killing you. And so why is it that depression is on the rise? Why is that? There's so many students that they have to take leave or absence because they're going through depression. It's because there's studies that's shown that parents that have stress from work, they're more likely to not talk to their children, and it's more likely that their children will become bullies.
Well, good, it's nice day.
Children from when your parents are stressed, you're more likely to become bullies, and when there's more bullies, there will be more people that get bullied and go into depression. And from that, I feel like don't we all want to live in a world where you can truly be who you are, you can truly be free and be who you are, coming into work and you know that people actually value you, and just like they are being who they are too. And there's a few things I want to because this is a new club, so I want to do a little bit of a disclaimer before going in. So what we are not about, we are not a elitist club. It's not about bringing in leaders and be like, oh, this person like came together and then said this. So you have to do what I say. It's not about that. It's for something. We would not represent or speak for anyone as a club. But what we are about is we are about bringing in people together to better themselves and better other people through leadership and personal development. And the club is based on this model is better me plus better you equal better world.
I like that.
So why is that like the cause of stress or these barriers that was that's being put in place that prevent us from like doing better things? So let me walk you through a little bit of the journey or the history of leadership. So starting in the 6th BC in China, Lao Tzu is a really influential philosopher for China until this day. And he described leader as leader is best when people barely knew he existed. When the people are successful and they think, oh, we did that by ourselves. We don't even need the leaders. At the same time, Sun Tzu, someone else, the name would be Sam, but someone else. He wrote The Art of War. It's one of the most influential writing pieces ever. People still use that today in warfare and business. And he described leadership as the general who advanced without combating fame and retreat without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sons in the jewel of the kingdom. So that's what leadership means to him. And then around also the same time, Buddhism, the main principle of Buddhism is empathy and compassion, and they do that by loving and then serving others. And around 0 BC, this guy say that Jesus, everyone knows. So he said, when speaking about leadership, he said that take the greatest among you, the greatest among you shall be your servant. And then he described leadership as the shepherd caring for his flock. And then 1 BC, Cicero, he's a Roman philosopher. He described leadership as a deliver result through other people. So instead of focus on the result, we should focus on the people that's delivering the result instead. So looking at like through times, through cultures, through continents, we can see that leadership is about service, not dominion, not about like putting fear into other people. But then something changed. Around the 16th century, this guy, Niccolo Machiavelli, he wrote the book, The Prince, and in it, he basically said that leadership is all about the leaders now, and the leader has to maintain power at all costs, either it's by the force or deceit if necessary. And then in the 19th century, Scott Thomas Carlyle, and he said that leaders were born made. And great things will happen if you have it. Like either you have it or you don't. Then going in the 20th century, Frederick Taylor, he invented scientific management. He said that he's basically saying, forget about other people. We don't need to focus on them anymore. Well, we just optimize how their work is done first. So from this, we stop giving responsibility to people. We stop telling them how to do things. We start telling them what to do instead, because we don't want to give them the responsibility anymore. And then most recently, in 1980s, Jack Welch of GE, people think he's one of the most successful CEO ever. he brought up some of the like business theories that's still like lingering around to this day. So one of it is shareholder supremacy. If you know any of the like even if you know just a little bit about accounting, you can tell that when he said it's all about the shareholder, he basically means that by increasing the shareholder value, he is increasing his sales too, his money too. And then he invents another concept called rank and yank. It's basically every year he promotes the top 10% and by the bottom 10%. And just think about it. What he does this just because it's not about his company not making enough money, but it's about increasing his value. So basically, we're going from leadership is service to other people, not ourselves. We sacrifice our people. We sacrifice our people for our gain. And from all these things, it's create a gap between leaders and followers. It's create two train of thought when it comes to leadership now, because there are so many resource and material on leadership that the true meaning of leadership that I talked about earlier got lost in time. So here's some of the misconceptions right now we have about leadership. This is celebrity. It's not leaders right now. They want the fame. In the past, being famous comes from being good at what you do, so it's a byproduct. But now all people want to be famous, not by serving other people. That's not the end. The end goal is to be famous, not serve other people. So because remember this guy, we start telling people how to do. We start telling people what to do. So that's what we do. We got caught up in the process. I was reading some article on LinkedIn about how to be a successful leader, and here's the things that the person wrote. To be a good leader, you have to be good at setting goals. You need to have strong routines, and you have to be optimistic. But is that true? Like, where's the people? You're leading people. This is all just what you are doing on your daily life. And we treat leadership like astrology. They start asking questions like, what type of leaders are you? Are you the explorer or the exploited? Are you the truth teller or the deceiver? Like I said before, the true meaning of leadership is there's only one. And because of all the people over here on the green line, it's basically they screw up leadership, and we still having to deal with it until this day. And another thing is that we focus, because we lost our meaning, the true meaning of leadership. What we do is we focus on what to do rather than the impact of it. People would be like, how to act confident like a leader, how to speak like a leader, how to write like a leader. This will talk about it. How to look at a person's signature and know if they are leaders or not. They treat it like astrology. So what is leadership? Leadership is a choice. It's a choice that you make. It's not about rank. There's people that rank really high in the organization, and people do what they say just because they have the authority. Leadership is the choice you make to take care of the person to the left of you and to the right of you. Leadership is a choice to have first into danger. That's why they call it leadership is leading people into danger. leadership is like parenting. You nurture your child. You don't know that they're gonna grow up good or not. You just have to do it every day and days in and days out. It's like parenting. You want them to go beyond what they could have ever imagined. You don't want them to go where you want them to go. You want them to go like beyond that. Like parenting, you want to give your children or your people the room to try and fail, like to create your needs, things like that. Like parenting, leadership is about I talked about this before. For rather than treating them for who they are, we need to treat your people for who they could be. So leadership is sacrifice. In military, we sacrifice ourselves so other people may gain. Like we run into danger to save other people. But in business or in our daily life, we sacrifice others so we may gain. We don't even like to give up our own credits. So there's a quote about from a military general. He said that the cost of leadership is self-interest. So if you look like people like Jack Welch or famous or like successful CEO nowadays, they sacrifice their employees so they may gain. So are they actually good leaders? But they're not. But like, why is that? Why is that everyone are still like celebrating their success? And this remind me of the soccer teams that got trapped in the cave in Thailand. Do you know about that story? So why is that we weep and cry for the guy that died, like sacrificing himself to save other people, even though it's not like worth it, the amount of like effort and money that put into the process of just saving a few dozen people. Like we as human, we are social animal, and we go toward the people, or we show a lot of affection for people who don't like have the true meaning of leaders. Like the true meaning of leadership is sacrifice, like those people that like sacrifice their time, even like potentially their life to save other people. So what is leadership? Like I said, like the philosopher that said, I told you before, leadership, we are responsible. When you become the leaders, you are not responsible for the result anymore, but now you are responsible for the people, responsible for the result. So we should, as a leader, you should focus on your people instead. And people like I go to a lot of like this leadership conference and then leadership conference for small companies around the area. And one of the most common question that they would ask the speaker is that how do you get the most out of your employee? Like are they like a wet towel you like get the most out of? You like squeeze them out? It's not about getting the most out of them, it's about getting the best out of them. So how do you become a good leader? What are the one thing that could help you become a good leader? So does anyone know the Moneyball metric term? So it's from baseball. It's basically looking at like advanced statistic about something and to get like to be the most efficient about something. And in leadership, the Moneyball metric is courage. So what is courage? I actually asked a lot of people on when the new question on Instagram thing out. I asked a lot of people what's courage, and I was surprised that people got it right. Because for me, I didn't know what it actually means until people tell me. So what is leadership? Leadership is when you are in fear, but you proceed to do the right thing. So when you're doing something and you got scared, there's a few options that you can do. you could be careless. It means like that either you don't care about it that much, so you don't you're not afraid, or you just cave in, you give up, or you have courage and you like proceed to do the right thing. So where does leadership come from? It's come from the support of it's come from the support of other people. It's not like an internal thing that you like dig down and like look for leadership for courage. It's a feeling that someone got your back and be like, oh, I got you. Like you feel like I'll help you back up. That's where leadership come from. So, what leadership? What can you do? I can't say English. What courage? What can you do? With courage, you can be honest, even though people are not gonna like what you have to tell them, but you have to be honest. With courage, with courage, you can be humility. You can show your humility. Humility means knowing who you are and what your weakness is, because it's easier to cave in and ignore what people have to tell you to improve on. It's easier to like be like, oh, you don't care about me. You're just like saying it to like make me mad and stuff. But like with courage, you can sit down and listen to what people say. With courage, you can be give you vulnerability. It's basically the same thing. With courage, everyone like here know that there's a lot of divisive in our nation right now, like the left and the right, and there's one trend. There's one trend that's coming up a lot right now. Is like we don't have to listen to the other side anymore, and people treat it like it's the courageous thing to do. But like it's easier. It's easy to avoid. That's the easiest choice that you do. You refuse to listen to other people, but you have to be courageous. You have to be able to open up yourself and listen to what other people say. Because the more you not listen to other people, the more separate you become. So this is like a chart, a table that describe like the management or the bad leadership looks like, and what leadership, a bad management organization and a good leadership organization looks like. So in bad leadership, in bad management, people have a lot of entitlement. Like other people have to do things for you. And in bad management, there's always victim mindset. It's never your fault. It's always someone else's fault. And the fourth thing is death by 1,000 cuts. Like everything's go wrong, and it's like stop you from going for what you want to do. And no gas. It's French. Don't give a shit. It doesn't matter like what like. It doesn't matter if you tell people the right thing. It doesn't matter like no matter how much effort you put into like helping other people or your organization, if they don't give a shit, they're not gonna do it. The next one is LHF. It's like it stands for lie, hide, and fake. If people don't care or because of this entitlement and victim mindset, they would lie, hide, and fake, and like they're gonna like push it all away from themselves and refuse to improve. There's a lot of bureaucracy in the management. It means there's a lot of rules because that you don't trust people to do the right thing. So you set rules for people to follow, and then when people figure out how to jump, like how to like fight through the loophole, they will put more rules to like stop you from doing things. Another thing is tolerance for mediocrity. Because people would like lie, hide, and fake. There's no a lot of encouragement for people to improve themselves. They would always oh, you're fine. Yeah, I'm sure you get it. It's okay. Like there's no improvement in that. in management, there's the obsession with short-term results or like picking the easy choice. Like even though it's easy to do now, it's gonna come back and hurt you later. Like I mentioned earlier, like not listening to what the other side has to say is an easy choice, and it's like it's short term. Like you don't have to like deal with what other people say, but it is preventing you from like better things or like understanding. And the next thing is everything is mission critical. Like you're afraid to fail, and if you don't fail, you're not gonna like learn anything new. And you're failure. And then solo start. This is the remember like what I said about leadership is about service to others. But now in management, it's all about become the best, like rising to the highest rank possible. And then the last thing is arrogance and insecurity. People would like flip flop between these two, and in my personal experience, I could tell that when people are not confident, like they do both of that. When you confronting them first, they'll be really arrogant and be like, "Oh, I got it. Don't worry, like trust in me." But then, like if things fail, they would like close in and refuse any help. So what a good leadership organization looks like? There's a lot of gratitude. There's a lot of giving, sharing and giving. People would be like, they would say that they did this, like they are successful because someone else helped them. It's always true. If you live your life just trading equally, you would never get anywhere because you just like trading back and forth on the same line. But you need gratitude, and like you gonna get somewhere in your life by gratitude. And the responsible mindset, like even though it's not completely your fault and you know it, it's still better to take step into yourself and figuring out a way to improve on something that way. Because like if you compare these two, the entitlement and victim mindset, and then gratitude and responsibility, like one of them is everything is someone else's fault, so I don't need to improve anything. But on the other side, everything is my like not necessarily my fault, but it's my responsibility. So you would always looking for ways to improve on something, even though it's not like even your responsibility or like your fault. GSD stands for get shit done. To compare to that 1,000 cuts. Because like everyone together, we can get things fixed really quickly, and we don't like complain on it. Opposite to gas, to no gas is gas. So it's like people they feel like they are there for a reason, and they are contributing to something better. And contrary to no LHF, to LHF is no LHF. And this in bureaucracy means there's lots of rules, and the opposite of that is trust. You trust people to do the right thing, and you don't set up a lot of rules, so people stop doing. The opposite of tolerance for mediocrity is high expectation for not only yourself but for other people. And you're playing the long game, like I mentioned before. It's picking the easy choice versus the hard choice. And there's a quote that I really like about it. It's hard choice, easy life, and easy choice, hard life. And it's basically the comparison between those two things. Even though like you're gonna listen to what people say about you, but like if you look at the longer term, it's better for you. And opposite to everything is mission to critical is the space to fail and practice ground. So and that's why I put together this club because I know that like all of us are in some kind of organization on campus, and we are not necessarily have the chance or the opportunity to learn more or practice more leadership. That's why I put together this club based on that reason. And there's instead of fear of failure, there's investment in loss. Even though you make a mistake or you were not successful in something, there's still things that you can learn from it. And opposite to solar stars is servanthood. It's about servant leadership. And then there's a balance between confidence and humility. So I'd like to end the presentation, I guess, with this quote by Simon Sinek. He's my favorite author, and he's the one that started me on this journey of leadership. And he basically he said that serve those who serve others, and you will live a life of joy and fulfillment.